What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Patreon. It is September 24th, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about today. So we're going to be going over the price of Bitcoin. We're going to be going over a lot of key news articles right now. So right now, Bitcoin is pulling back to test the horizontal support line. We did just get a bounce off of 9,370, and we're going to be talking about a few key moving averages. Now, the crypto industry is moving forward in a lot of interesting ways. A lot of private corporation or big corporations are starting to take the technology and use it and sort of morph the technology for their own use. So we're going to be going over a few of those things. First off, for the price of Bitcoin, if you guys have been in this, a lot of you have been in this Patreon for a long time. And since that blow off top just below 14,000, we've been looking for a test back to the $7,500 level, which is the golden retrace. And, we've been patiently waiting for this for months now. And it looks like it's likely going to be happening soon. We have a strong decline in volume here, or a steady decline in volume, I should say. And it's looking, not too much support coming in. Of course, first off, guys, Backed did just get released, right? And this was, a lot of the crypto YouTubers that you guys listen to told you that Backed was going to be Bitcoin's biggest catalyst ever. Like, it was the biggest thing to ever happen for Bitcoin. But it was it's just misinformation because it's a futures platform and it's settled in Bitcoin, right? Institutions don't just FOMO into an asset because a platform is built. That's just not how things work. So be careful with who you listen to out there. Backed is really just not a bullish catalyst in the immediate term. This is a way for institutions to get their hands on Bitcoin, and we can see that really nothing has really happened here, guys. Backed was launched and we immediately got a sell-off. A lot of the top altcoins are also selling off. Right now I'm looking at the blue 21 EMA and the yellow 100 EMA, and right now I'm looking for a cross of these two moving averages. If the blue 21 EMA does cross below the yellow 100 EMA here on the daily chart, that would be my indication that Bitcoin is likely ready to break down out of this formation and retest the $7,500 level, which is the golden retrace. So what's interesting about these two moving averages is back before the bull run began, the blue 21 EMA crossed above the yellow 100 EMA, and that was our initiation for the bullish break in the beginning of this bull run. And right now it's looking like we're going to get a bearish cross, and that would initiate, in my opinion, a bearish break to the downside, very much like this bullish break to the upside. These two moving averages crossing, which doesn't happen very often, would be a strong indication that we'd be looking to break to the downside. And right now, let's just move away some of these lines. Right now, if you just look at the 4-hour chart, there's not all too much volume coming in right now. It is possible that we get a short-term bounce off the $9,300 region, but at this point, I really would not be surprised to see the price action kind of just slice through this previous support zone and finally get a break out of this formation. If we find good enough support and get a rally back, we'll see. We'll have to see how it plays out. But personally, I'm still very confident that we are going to be breaking to the downside of this formation right now. And also looking at some of the top altcoins, Ethereum is getting rejection off of the yellow 100 EMA here on the 3-day chart. Litecoin also getting rejection off the yellow 100 EMA here on the 3-day chart. And XRP pulling back to support right now, 3 of the top altcoins. Personally, I think we're going to be forming a larger scale double bottom for some of these altcoins with a slight higher low. I'm thinking Ethereum is going to be retesting back to this critical support zone in the bear market before finding major support. And Litecoin will likely be testing back to this major support area, this consolidation area in the bear market before finding major support. And prices that I'm looking for, downside targets that I'm looking for Ethereum, if we can't hold the 786 at 140, I'd be looking for about $110 for Ethereum, and for Litecoin, I'd be looking at about $35 to $40 for that larger scale double bottom formation. And for XRP, I mean, this is, the structure for XRP is a lot different. If XRP can't hold the support right here, then we're actually going to be falling back into this trading range, which is, 14 cents to 25 cents. So XRP could see a huge decrease in price in the near future. Now, of course, this is all dependent on Bitcoin. If we do actually break below this support range, then, of course, all these altcoins are going to be selling off and likely testing at least the 786. For Ethereum, that's 140. And for Litecoin, if we go from swing low to swing high, that's coming in at about just below $50, right? But I personally think we're actually going to be going lower than this if Bitcoin does break down to $7,500. But we'll have to see. I think we're at least going to be testing the 786 for some of these top altcoins. Chainlink is not really having all too many problems. I mean, we have seen a major decline from the peak. If you go from swing low to swing high, Chainlink did break below the golden retrace and bounced off $1.50. And right now we're getting rejection off of the golden retrace. So it's possible that we do see another test back down to $1.50 to regain support there. We have broken out of the downward sloping resistance area. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Personally, I mean, I'm happy with the way Chainlink has performed. One of my favorite altcoins so far. Interestingly enough, Bitcoin dominance right now. Bitcoin is regaining dominance here. Let's just move into the current year. Bitcoin is right now actually regaining dominance and altcoins are selling off once again. So, this bounce that we've seen in the altcoin market is really just, it's been very short-lived. A lot of people were calling for alt season. And, I just think this was a normal market. This is normal market behavior. This is just a reaction rally. And we're getting a sell-off now. This was not alt season, in my opinion. And most of you would probably agree with that. So, of course, backed launch, not much happened after the launch. Let's go through some key news articles here. Crypto exchange Binance awarded ISO security accreditation. So, for those of you who don't know what ISO accreditation is, so the International Organization of Standardization Process, they create new standards for industries, right? So Binance is, I think, the first crypto exchange to actually get ISO accreditation. So Binance is leading the standardization of crypto exchanges around the world. So this is pretty big news for Binance, kind of leading the way for true standardization and regulation for crypto. So interesting news came out of Facebook's Libra project. Facebook is so Libra will be backed 50% by the US dollar, and the remaining percentages will be 18% euro, 14% Japanese yen, 11% British pound, and 7% Singapore dollar. So these are the currencies that are going to be backing the Libra token. So like I was saying in the beginning of the video, a lot of corporations are taking blockchain technology and sort of morphing it for their own use. And one interesting thing that's happening is IBM is looking to work with Libra, looking to help them develop the Libra project. They haven't actually announced if they're actually joining the Libra project, but they've talked about helping them develop the project. And one of the interesting things that the general manager of the blockchain services from IBM, Jason Kelly, said was, "We talk about Libra and people say it's just another crypto. Set crypto aside and talk about tokenization because that's what we're talking about." So basically what they're saying is they're not necessarily creating a true cryptocurrency in the way that we know cryptocurrencies, right? They're creating tokenized money. And this is what's going to be happening with this technology is the world is going to become tokenized. Fiat currencies are going to become tokenized. So you're going to have tokenized fiat currencies, basically fiat cryptocurrencies. And a lot of, they're working on tokenizing the stock market as well. So you'll be able to, so there's going to be blockchain technology integrated into the stock market as well. Also, Japanese central bank chief calls for international effort on Libra regulation. So a lot of countries are probably getting worried about this, that big corporations are implementing their own currencies. And of course, they want to keep them in check. And one of the quotes here is, if Libra is introduced, it could have a huge impact on society. So of course, the central banks around the world are definitely going to want to be regulating this new tokenized fiat currency. So you can tell that overall, I mean, the crypto industry is changing, it's developing, it's morphing. Big corporations are morphing the technology for their own use. I think we're moving into the age of tokenization for fiat currencies and securities and stuff like that. Very likely tokenization is going to take place for a lot of financial services. So overall, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Right now, just going back to the 4-hour time frame, Bitcoin not finding all too much support right now. We'll go to the 1 hour here. Finding a little bit of a bounce. We'll see if we get a bounce off this support area just above $9,300 here, which of course could result in another bounce to retest the downward sloping resistance once again. But still, I'm pretty skeptical of any bullish move. I'm pretty certain at this point that we are going to be seeing a breakdown out of this area, whether it's sooner or later. I think very likely a bearish break to my downside target of 7,500 is very likely. And if we do hit that target and we find volume levels that exceed previous levels, which is one of my requirements here, guys, I need to see volume levels that exceed previous levels on this next test to the downside. And if we can get that, if we can find volume levels that exceed previous levels on this next test to the downside, then that is a very strong buy signal for Bitcoin. If $7,500 can act as strong support, very likely that would initiate the next parabolic advance to new highs potentially. And if we can't find volume levels that exceed previous levels on this next low, that could mean further downside. And instead of getting a bounce off the 618 golden retrace, then that would very likely mean that we would actually be testing back down to the 786, which is, around $5,400. But right now, my downside target is still about 72 to 7,500, which is the golden retrace. But that's about all I wanted to talk about today. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely leave your comments below, and I will see you all in the next update.